Hello and welcome to National Debate. I'm Madhavdas Gopalakrishnan. Viewers, the dowry menace has reared its ugly head once again, and the death of Twisha Sharma has once again revived the debate over an issue that for long has been swept under the rug. While it is extremely unfortunate, dowry deaths are not new in India. And every year, over 5,000 women lose their lives owing to dowry-related harassment. Twisha Sharma's case is just the start. There are several Twishas across the country who are today dealing with such dowry-related harassment, but their voices are going unheard. Dowry laws are strong on paper, but are they only strong on paper? Has time come for society to wake up and take a stand against dowry? Is it time to further tighten the laws against those who are both giving and taking dowry? That's what we focus on this edition of the National Debate. Let's first begin with the case of Twisha Sharma, because while we discuss her case today, it could very well have been anyone else. Let me introduce our panelists here in the studio. With us is Rekha Agarwal, lawyer. We have Rishika Dhawan, advocate, joining us. Abha Maryada Bhatt is a human rights lawyer and social impact leader. We have Pritika Pawar, model and actress, with us. Ranjan Dwivedi, former DGP of UP, is with us. We also have Vikas Gupta, criminal lawyer. Barkat Ryan is men's rights activist, and also with us is Shoni Kapoor, who's also a men's rights activist. What is this entire case about? Let's begin with the kind of WhatsApp chats that have been unearthed in this entire matter. And these are amongst the last texts of Twisha to her family members. It's on the 30th of April 2026 that she says, "He's not speaking to me." Let's bring in the next chat. "My life has become hell." She further goes on to say, "Please come and take me away, mom." So she's pleading to her mother to take away. She says, "I don't think Samarth wants me anymore." Further saying that Samarth is here, we'll speak later. More messages say they think I'm into drugs. Further adding that I feel suffocated is another message. This is on the 9th of May. He asks, "Whose child am I carrying?" Further, that he has crossed all his limits. "How can I stay with him?" is another question being asked. He has said every filthy thing to me is another statement. He lies in front of his mother is yet another text of Twisha. Further going on to say that nothing can be fixed now. So reaching the point perhaps of an irreconcilable difference. He speaks filth. "I can't do this. I am afraid the fight might escalate." These are heartless people, mom. Yet another tweet on the 9th of May coming in. And further, of course, what really has been stated by Giribala in that audio clip that has now gone viral. Now, this is, of course, as allegedly stated by Giriwala. And, of course, the family of Twisha says that this was recorded in April. And she says that only inquired about her being intimate with others before. Samarth kept calling her, and this is an abusive word over there. Some use promiscuity to climb the social ladder. Samarth said that she was engaged in multiple affairs. Promiscuous behavior post-marriage wouldn't be tolerated. Promiscuity can become a habit. Another shocking comment coming in from Giribala Singh. Let's quickly open this across and take it across to our guests as well. And let me begin with you, Rekha Agarwal. You know, prima facie, going by these messages before us, going by the kind of statements before us, you have a situation where the two accused, both are lawyers. In fact, one is a judge. The other is, of course, a lawyer. He's absconding at this point of time, Samarth. But at least going by these WhatsApp messages, what does one make of this? Because people will say, what were the family members doing? When such cries for help, such SOSs were being put out, it was also incumbent on them to come and rescue their daughter rather than letting things come to this eventuality.
I think that prima facie, all these messages show very clearly that she was in a very harassed and depressed state of mind. There was a continuous state of emotional torture which she was going through, maybe even physical, though these messages are not making out about any physical beatings, etc. But definitely, she was feeling absolutely harassed and intimidated over there. And the fact that she was crying for help from her mother, of course, that is another matter that her parents probably did not take it seriously and did not react at that time. As in our Indian marriages, all mothers teach their daughters to nibhao, adjustment, compromise, sab theek ho jayega. Once a child is born, it takes time, etc. These are all teething problems. These are the things which often mothers say to their daughters. And if they say in another manner, then the mothers are accused of breaking up their daughters' houses, that, oh, you're interfering too much in your daughter's house. So a balance has to be drawn. And from these messages, but definitely prima facie, there is no doubt that she was going through a lot of emotional and mental torture. And the kind of messages, especially about her character, you know, that she was having multiple affairs before marriage, they do show that Samarth and his mother were trying to bring her down, absolutely bring her to the bottom level, where she feels that she's just the pits. You know, I mean, whatever affairs she may have had in the past, that's her personal life, and that's all gone and over with.
Right.
But if, despite that, you know, they met on a dating app, as I've been reading in the social media. So obviously, if Samarth is a grown-up person and he's an adult and he's a lawyer and he's a responsible person in the society. So how could, if he's decided to marry her, he cannot bring those things again and defame her in this manner?
Absolutely, and that too when she is pregnant, Shoni Kapoor, you know, to be making these statements when a person is pregnant, you know, asking whose child this is, going on talking about past affairs, etc. How much of this is really appropriate? And as she says, were they trying to break her down? Because one thing is to physically torture a person, but if you're going to go on making these kind of barbs, that's tantamount to mental torture, isn't it?
Yes, if you see to it, it does tantamount to mental torture, but the line which you started was dowry harassment, and nowhere in these talks anything about dowry comes out. So every suicide is not dowry death.
I have a counter to that. I have a counter to that. Why is the family now saying that we transferred 7 lakh rupees back to Twisha's account on the very day that she died? Isn't that a smokescreen then? And isn't that an attempt to counter these dowry debt charges?
It could be anything.
They are all lawyers, by the way.
It could be anything, but whatever the lady has said does not speak anything about dowry. Yes, it could be a case of 498 because driving a woman towards suicide, yes, it can be leveled because 498 is as much about dowry as much as driving a woman towards suicide. But nothing in this, nothing, whatever you have quoted here till now, brings any angle of dowry here.
But so you know that dowry was paid or not paid in this case for a fact.
So if it doesn't matter whether the dowry was paid or not.
Because this WhatsApp chats are about a harassment.
No, please understand, no harassment was meted out for dowry. So there is two different distinct things. Dowry exchange is not a crime, but any harassment done for demand of dowry is a crime.
Dowry exchange is also a crime, sir.
No,
the giver of dowry, is also equally liable as per the law.
Then 99.99% of the marriages
that may very well be. That's why perhaps we need to change as a society.
Both the
we're not implementing the law.
And the wife and their
just because we're not implementing the law by and large does not mean that society by and large is correct. But let me bring in other lawyers as well. Rishika Devan, I would like you to respond to this point. He says that there's nothing in this that proves that there is dowry and that the harassment was not happening because of dowry. Are the dowry laws there meant for the dowry giver and taker as well?
So there are precedents that covers both the one who's giving the dowry as well as one who's taking the dowry. That said, the laws itself is very clear. It says that there is a presumption of death due to dowry within 7 years of marriage if a person dies. So this marriage happened in December. The death happened now. So, and then there are conversations around the father-in-law of the brother of Twisha transferring 2 lakhs. The marriage was to begin at 1 p.m. It was deferred to 3 p.m. because money was required and money wasn't given. And the transfer transaction is there, where 2 lakhs was transferred to the mother, which is the mother of the groom. So this transaction is already there. And are we actually saying that the money was not transacted and the death did not happen? The death happened because of money and other cruelties. There is a recording on social media where the brother goes up to the mother-in-law, where this conversation happened regarding the prostitution discussion, the boyfriends and everything. Where while we are discussing that, and then we are talking about money, these are two independent things, but both are clearly there on social media and otherwise. It also is captured in the FIR. So although FIR happened 3 days later, the transaction is already there. And going back to your question, Madhav, dowry, one who gives and one who takes, that is something that happens and it doesn't come into media, it doesn't come into police stations. But is this something that is not happening? It is happening.
Of course it is, yes.
Yes.
No, but that's a question. But Shorty, to answer your question, she says there is enough proof of money transactions. So where's the question of it not being a dowry?
I have not seen that. Whatever you brought to notice, my notice, and I am only replying to that. There could be some circumstances, there could be anything which is not brought to light. And I cannot respond to anything which I don't know. You showed me these clips, you showed me these
comments. They started with the harassment aspect.
So please understand, if this is a harassment, so I am saying it makes out 498, definitely it makes out 498.
There is much more. There is much more food for thought and evidence coming. Don't go just by this. It's a 1 hour long discussion. There's a lot more to discuss.
I'll respond to that.
There's a lot more to discuss. But let me quickly, in fact, bring in on this note Barkhat Rian as well. Barkhat Rian, what kind of no, please, let's not do placards. No, madam, let's not do this. Placards down. No, not in the studio debate. This is not, this is not a protest. This is not a protest. This is a sensitive matter. Please put that down. Put that down. No, please put it down. Put it down. No placards.
Why don't we
no placards. Madam, this is not Jantar Mantar. This is my studio. Please put it down. You will not be allowed to carry placards. And if so, humble request, please don't do this. Please don't do this. No, please don't do this. This is not correct. My simple question is, why is he...
Why no question?
I am asking you a simple question. Where is Samar today? Where is Samar today? Where is Samar today? If he is innocent, why isn't he submitting himself before law?
Police has to find out, not me. Police.
Please answer the question.
Let the police find out. I am not responsible.
Don't you think he should be submitting himself due to legal process in this entire matter?
It's his will if he wants to submit. Or what is the police doing?
It's his will.
Yes,
it's his will. As a lawyer, he's an officer of court. It's his will.
Yes. He will fight for his case. And when did we say here, we are no judges here? We are no judges here. So let everything be proved in the court. The court doesn't work on emotions. See, when I spoke about Amar Sharma, you got so rattled.
No, I'm not about Amar Sharma. I don't want you to hold any placard. Even if you hold a placard for Twisha, I would not allow it here. This is not a place for protest.
I put the placard down. Yeah. See, this is not a placard. NCRB data. This is NCRB government data, which says 3 times husband suicide. And if you count
what does it say about dowry
deaths also.
What does it say about dowry deaths? How many dowry deaths in the country?
The dowry deaths, I have not taken out about dowry
deaths. Why not? We are discussing dowry deaths and you're only concerned about one side.
Burning.
This is not correct.
Husband burning. Do you talk? Just 2 days before.
How many cases? How many cases was this dowry deaths in this country?
We don't have data for husbands. We don't collect. There is no data for husbands.
So
men are third-class gender. We don't talk about them. Let them die. We only go gaga.
I think it's about 20 women who die a day. There is data 16 women. 16 women. Barkat Rian, 16 women die in a day. 16 women die in a day. I can only discuss what data the government provides. You're more than welcome to collect this data, ma'am. You've been working in this area. I'm sure you will be also in the process of petitioning the government to collect that data. But let me bring in Abha Maryada. Abha would like to respond to those charges because he is taking legal recourse. He also happens to be a lawyer. He should be the one setting the example. His mother happens to be a judge.
Yes.
And she said, we are not judges here, but we've seen the example of the one judge before us and the kind of statements coming from
We may not be judges, but we are all lawyers over here, so we do understand the process here. So one thing that I think I really need to point out over here is that the mother has been planting narratives. Yes. Whether there is foul play or not, we'll see at some point. One moment,
Barkha. Madam, please. You got your chance to speak. No, let's not do this. Let everybody. No, this is not a shouting match.
You have to allow us to speak.
One by one. Please, one by one. One by one. She is making her opening comment.
So everyone.
Barkha, I'm not talking about Samarth at the moment.
Let's go one by one. Let her make her point. You can respond to her.
My point over here is very simple. That here is a situation that has arisen where a woman has died by suicide. There are dowry angles. There is foul play angle, there is harassment angle, there is what we watch. This psyched the wit out of all of us, I think, the way the mother has spoken about this girl. And in whichever manner, so what we see over here as lawyers, if I'm seeing it as a lawyer, the lady has been, the son is not there, he is not available to the police or any of us to see where he is. We're still asking the question whether he will surrender and or not. But what she's saying is a planted narrative to prove 2 things, proving that one is this girl was mentally unstable. Therefore, she can commit suicide. So I am not responsible for the suicide, neither is my son. Second part that she's saying is that about the character part. So now she comes to the character where she is now talking about the previous boyfriend's sexual intimacy. Is she married to the girl or is the boy is married to the girl? It is between the husband and wife, or you are the husband, or you are speaking for the son. Unreal and absolutely obnoxiously, I would say, ugly. What we all watched about what was being said over here. So when we plant narrative like this, the police is listening. The son is sitting and watching TV somewhere. He is listening. When he surrenders, there's going to be a statement. What statement has to go in is what the mother, I believe, has planted. As a lawyer, I see that over there.
So she's giving him cues as to what to say when he surrenders.
It's open cues.
Okay, is that what's happening? Vikas Gupta, because at the end of the day, what kind of, please let other panelists come in. Vikas Gupta, what is the kind of narrative that is being set over here? That somebody who does not do puja, somebody who does not water the plants, somebody who has had a medical termination of pregnancy, all this show that a person is of unstable mind, unsound mind, and therefore has committed suicide. What is the narrative that the judge is trying to set over here?
Madhav, as a lawyer, let me just begin. There are 3 scenarios that emerge from the entire discussion, what has taken place. One is a dowry death. the other is abetment to suicide, and third is cruelty. So as far as all the tweets, these messages you read out, dowry death, Madhav, as far as law is concerned, the demand of dowry has to be soon before the death takes place, you know. So there is no ingredients of the offense as far as any of the messages which you have read out sent by the girl and from the relatives. So as far as dowry death is concerned, I don't think
one part, Vikas Gupta, we are talking about the cruelty. This is one portion. I'm only talking about, one second, I'm only talking about WhatsApp messages that are recorded between her and her family members. I'm only talking about Giribala. Lots more will come up in this debate that will give you topic for discussion.
As you know, my sympathy for the family goes out, but that's a separate thing. But as far as law is concerned, you are saying the boy is on the run. He ought to be. He applied for anticipatory bail before the Session Court. He has the opportunity to go before the High Court and Supreme Court. So it is not absconding. He is only availing his legal remedy, which is available to every citizen of this country. So let us not go after someone. You know, I really don't, none of us know what is there at the point. But most interestingly, let me tell you, I read the anticipatory bail application before coming to the
Do you think that Twisha would have been lying about it? You think Twisha's messages over here are fake, which he has said to her mother?
That only points to cruelty. Yeah. What you are trying to make an offense, which is punishable with 3 years.
Which gives him adequate reason to run, to be on the run.
No, let me tell you one thing. If all these messages, that points out only towards cruelty. It doesn't lead to point out towards
we just started the debate with that. She just spoke about the 2 lakh rupee transaction.
Madhav, if that amount, please, if that amount has taken place in that's what I'm saying. That demand has to be soon before the death takes place. Not in December. You are talking of an offense which has happened on 12th of May, and you are talking about the transaction that took place in
before this cruelty. Before this cruelty, in the sequence of events.
Madhav, you can't expect me as a criminal lawyer to go on an emotional point. I'm only going to talk. I'm only going to talk.
The amount was 7 lakhs and paid 2 lakhs. The remaining,
let her come on the 2 lakhs.
The amount that was asked for, they said that the arrangement was not as good as that matched their stature. The amount could have been 7 lakhs, but because at the last minute they could only arrange for 2 lakhs, that too from the brother's father-in-law, they paid 2 lakhs. The remaining 5 lakhs were still pending. Now that correlation, do we say that immediately before the death it should be the demand that should be there? Then why do we have the provision, even as a lawyer, why do we have the provision of 7 years production?
Why is the 7-year provision there? Answer her. You're a lawyer as well.
Yeah, that 7 years is there, but that demand has to be soon before the death.
What is the definition of soon, sir?
Explain. One second. Why was 7 lakh rupees paid on the same day of Twisha's death to her account by, in fact, the family of the accused in this case? Please get
is precisely the very amount.
That is trying to build up an alibi. That's exactly why.
Madhav, that is flowing from the accused side.
Okay, the alibi is not proof, but the actions don't show proof.
That's the truth.
Madhav, that's precisely what I'm saying. Yes, of course,
the
death has taken place. The messages sent by this young girl points towards cruelty, but it doesn't point towards abetment to suicide or a dowry death. That's precisely what is my contention is. Because once you pick up the law books, you will read the section, you read the ingredient, only then you will read to a...
How do you know these acts of cruelty were not because of dowry? How do you know that for a fact?
No, dowry is there. You are missing the point. I'm talking dowry death. That is punishment for more than 10 years.
How are you telling us or arguing as a lawyer that these acts of cruelty, which you yourself have admitted, are not due to dowry? How do you know that?
It could be for dowry, but not for dowry death.
Yes, that is the whole point we are making. It could be because of dowry.
No,
why are you arguing against it then?
That has to be soon before the death.
Oh, really?
It has to be in close proximity, not today. That you make a dowry demand in the month of December, and then the death.
If it is 3 weeks, if it's 3 months before the death, then it's not dowry.
No,
if it is 2 days before, only then it is.
Yes, you are right. That's what the law is.
We should ask what is soon. What do we understand by soon?
Okay, there are 3 lawyers who want to argue.
I just clarify
yes,
with utmost respect to Mr. Gupta, the demand may not be immediately proximate to the day of the death, but if it is a continuous demand which is happening, the continuous cruelty which the daughter-in-law is suffering because of the continuous demands. So it is something that is just piling up one after the other, and ultimately it may lead to a death. So though it may not be just 1 day before her death or 2 days before death, the demand may not be immediately proximate. But even if it is prior, and if it has been a continuous
sequence of events, if it's a sequence of events that is building up, what is the
I want to come in here. I want to come.
Yeah, one for Vikas first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If the marriage took place in December and if the demand was raised in December, I don't know what is a continuous demand. And there's been none of these messages. Madhav points that there is a dowry demand.
It does a law. You're a lawyer. You're a lawyer.
Yeah.
You're saying you don't go by emotion. I'll grant you that. Go by the law. Does the law say within 7 years the case is applicable or not?
Yes, of course it is.
Then what is the argument?
No, but the demand, what all messages,
WhatsApp chat.
It is still
what
coming up,
the
sir. It is
WhatsApp
still
chat
coming
what
up.
you're reading out doesn't say any that there is a demand.
There is a probability, there is a concept.
That is your presumption.
One by one. Because if you all shout at the same time, nobody can hear any of you. So one by one. So if the demands continuously build up over a period of time, they can lead to
None
this
of the
harassment.
messages say so.
But there is harassment that's clearly
No, now you're mixing two other. You lose on this round, then you jump to other. You keep changing the goalpost. That's the difficulty is that you keep changing the goalpost. If you get defeated on the demand, you go to harassment. Of course, I'm saying harassment is there, but the harassment punishment is not 10 years. Cruelty punishment is not 10 years.
Let's go one by one. Yeah, Mr.
Thank you so much, Madhav. Well, sir, with all due respect to you and other panelists, I just want to bring in one factor. I think the lady kind of mentioned it. You see, the factor that money was asked for is there, maybe 4 months away. And let's not forget, they're all educated people. The mother-in-law is a judge. The husband is a lawyer. They know the law fully well.
Exactly. Yeah.
And in that, and just, madam, please
allow
with all
people
due
to make
respect.
the opening comments.
And therefore, they'll obviously be very careful that you do not state anything which can ultimately be construed to being asked for dowry.
Yes.
Now, once this undertone of dowry is there, nobody mentions it because it's very inelegant. It's also legal, so nobody will mention it. But all this harassment could be coming because of this underlying tone of money having not been given. And so you say, now the mother-in-law obviously or the husband won't say that you need money. And these insinuations that all of us lawyers are here. Lawyers have seen a lot more. I mean, as a police officer, I've seen a little bit. But the usual insinuation is on character.
Yes.
They said, there was fault in the lady's character. The reason for making that insinuation is because they're dissatisfied with the kind of transaction that was made, or the in-laws not being looked at, the husband, the father.
I'm actually reading out, before I come across to you, just 1 second, since this issue has been debated so vociferously from this side, Barkad Rehan, answer this. I'm reading out from the family's petition. They say they taunted her, deprived her of money for daily expenses, pressurized her to hand over the amount given to her by the applicant as also the amount accumulated by her from a previous job, abused her and made her life miserable. If this is not harassment for money, what is?
She's a gold digger.
Oh, she is a gold digger. Not the family. Not the family who's harassing her.
Let me complete. She is responsible for her death.
How?
She was a drug
That's a very insensitive thing to say.
multiple affairs.
I'm sorry. You cannot speak like this. How do you? What is your proof that she's a gold digger?
I will quote another case.
Don't quote another case. No. You can't be. No, you will not. You cannot defame a dead person like this. How are you saying that she's a gold digger? With what basis are you saying this?
The whole family, she kept on sending messages to the whole family. Take me back.
So that means she's a gold digger.
She was
she's
there.
She's not a woman who's being harassed.
She was there.
No. How dare you say she's a gold digger without any proof, ma'am? This is completely incorrect.
No. Let me complete that.
What is the proof? What is the proof? Give us proof.
As far as drugs are concerned,
panel discussion, I'm not going to tolerate that. Barkha has got no right.
Barkha Rehan, apologize for that comment. You're defaming a dead person without any proof. What is your proof she's a gold digger?
What do you mean
You're calling her a gold digger. How is she a gold digger?
Proof is the mother-in-law is also dead.
There are things said about the mother-in-law.
I am asking you to give proof. Okay, one second. You're grandstanding. Give me the proof.
The whole family is so greedy.
How do you know
they
that?
They are after money.
How do you know
that? Why did you get married? Why did you get your daughter married to a judge family?
What
money? On what basis are you saying she's a gold digger? She's lost her life after so much of harassment.
Why did you get your daughter was married to
This is not the
young
way.
family, a very
No, this is not the way. You cannot defame somebody like this. I'm sorry, I cannot allow this argument. You should be apologizing for making such a statement.
I won't.
Kritika, let's give you a comment. I'm going to come to you as well. Kritika.
This is no different from what the mother-in-law has said.
Absolutely.
So what are we listening to?
I have seen such cases, and that is why I said this.
No, that
I
is not
have seen
correct.
many of such cases.
So
in every case
you cannot apply every such case like this
These
blanket.
girls are gold diggers.
No. You're
These
making
girls have
no. You're not making. Madam, you're also a woman. I think there's some basic sensitivity in what you're saying. This is not acceptable.
They have a
This is not acceptable at all. You cannot make blanket statements. They will call something else to the judge and the boy's family, then you will also have a problem. But this is extremely insensitive of you because a person has died. A person has committed suicide and you're calling that person a gold digger.
So that the truth comes
Barkat
out.
Khan, shame on you. Today you cannot. How are you calling a dead person a gold digger?
Shame on you.
Because you're calling a dead person.
She is responsible for her death. Why did she come back to
Without
this
any
house?
proof, how can you say this?
Everything was fine. That is why she came back.
How is it? How do you say
Why
everything
did
is
she
fine?
come back? She went to the father's
A person who's had a medical pregnancy, you're saying everything is fine.
What are we
And she was there.
What exactly
Okay, enough. Barkat, enough. We've had enough of your monologue, which is not making any sense. I'm sorry to say. Extremely insensitive.
I would have said many
Yes.
other. I would have given you many
Just
other
5
examples.
months into the wedding, like just 5 months, it's not even been half a year, and what are the comments like? This is the proof, right? The aggression just piles up, calling names, persuading somebody so that they give you money. Like, they are lawyers, they are judges, obviously educated backgrounds, they can't directly say that word, but those transactions are a proof, and those money transfers to the accounts of the in-laws, that are also the proof. And what says that, you know, I'm sorry, but using those words like gold digger, saying the family was money hungry.
No, enough. Let her finish now. Let her finish. Yeah, make your point.
Every parent
Barkat, this is not right. This is not right.
Every family
No, this is not right. Let her make a point.
daughter. Every family wants a educated, wealthy family, a good future for their daughters, and just for having that concern, you can call a family money hungry. Sorry, but you know, even comments that the mother-in-law made.
Handsome guy with a good.
Enough. Let other people speak. No. You cannot jump in like this. This is not how we conduct the debate here. And you've made your point, and which anyway does not have any factual basis. Yeah, one by one.
Just name calling happening, that the girl went into the industry, she climbed ladders for money, shows how money minded the mother-in-law is.
Exactly.
All she thinks that everything that a girl does is to just get money in her life. I mean, just throwing statements like she would sleep with people.
Okay, quick response from Abha.
I need to speak here because what Barkha is talking about, and this is very unfair, unreasonable for her to bring this up. This girl was not chasing this boy. Handsome boy. She was married to that boy. Yes. And 5 months into the marriage, they are talking like that about her because they had already decided they don't want her anymore. And therefore, the harassment begins. Whether it was for dowry or otherwise, the investigation will be there. We have seen some bits over here, but the investigation will go on. Now, we are looking at something which will land up in a botched-up investigation, whether at the police or at the medical investigation, where I think lawyers will play a big role.
I'm actually looking at the issues related to the investigation. We'll discuss this threadbare. What really has happened in this investigation? What are the botch-ups? What doesn't add up? Let's take a look at it. The hanging belt was not submitted in time. The first few days, the belt was missing. Why was it missing? Even the FIR, the family says, took time. Local police not informed immediately is a question that is being asked, because why was the FIR registered 3 days after the death? Was there some influence used perhaps? We don't know, but certainly a valid question. Why were calls made to judges after the death? The CDR submitted in the court actually shows that calls were made to several influential people, including judges. Why? That's a question for many to answer. Why were these calls made to the CCTV handlers as well? And they've committed on record, they have commented that they did receive those calls. Why were those calls made? Remember, it's not just one, but multiple CCTVs that are there as far as this judge's residence is concerned. Why is the husband Samar Singh still on the run? Giribala on defamation drive, still out on bail. If there is a case of such dowry harassment, and in fact I'd like to ask Mr. Ranjan Dwivedi, isn't it a fact that this individual Giribala should also be behind bars? And let me contrast that, and why I'm asking you this is, look at the case of Deepika Nagar in Greater Noida. Entire family arrested. Why are these people still outside? What is the police there? Are they scared because she's a judge?
No. You see, there are always two sides to any case, and it's a matter of investigation. And it does happen many times that out of public pressure, media pressure, and so on, sometimes police oversteps and effects an arrest even before time. Ordinarily you should arrest at a particular point in time when you have enough evidence before you. So, so that's a matter of investigation as to what time she should be arrested. But
what do the dowry laws say? What do the dowry laws say?
So she should be available for investigation and questioning all the time.
She's not been available for 10 days. Is that what you're saying? She's not been available for investigation for 10 days.
Notice has not gone in for investigation.
So and if she doesn't go, Safina served, she doesn't go, ultimately arrest warrant can be given to bring her for interrogation. So that the law will follow its own course, but but this tendency to effect an arrest on the basis of accusations.
Let me bring in a comment on that. Ishika would like to respond to that. Law will take its own course. In the case of some privileged individuals in our society, law's course becomes so meandering, we don't know if it's even taking any course.
So let's go back to the whole investigation. So the bail is on the ground of age and stature. So this is the ground of allowing the bail. Gymnast rope is the device by which the death has happened. That rope they can't find for 3 days. Then the calls, 50 calls to the judges. Is there a count? Would any normal person be able to do that? If the police is called, the police should have been called immediately. The family of the girl called the police. They never called the police. The police station is hardly 30 seconds away from the residence. Then the CCTV handling thing. There is a botch up in the timelines. The CCTV footage that is available versus the timeline. And this is within a span of 15 minutes. Yes. Rest, the entire video of the day is fine. Only this 15 minutes is something that is not matching the normal course of action that has been portrayed by the mother-in-law. Now, in all of this, what seems right? Does everything seems right here? And if that is the case, would a normal person, say in Deepika's case, would the police be working in the manner FIR happening after 3 days without the evidence? So when we talk about the evidence and the manner in which the investigation is happening, this is completely something that has been managed. And this is not Delhi or this is not Mumbai. This is a small city like Bhopal, where the mother-in-law was already a district judge and now a sitting judge in Consumer Forum.
Consumer Forum. Already a sitting judge, has been a district judge, and therefore every possibility that she could have manipulated the case, the investigation watch-ups are therefore all to see. Your response, Shoni Kapoor.
So, I'll say, if she was a district judge, her friends would have been judges only. So whom do you call when you are in stress? Whom do you call?
50 calls.
Wait a minute, let me respond. It could be 5 calls, it could be 50 calls. There could be WhatsApp calls which are not recorded. So how do we know? But tell me, whom do we call when we are in stress? To our friends. And if her friends are judges, she will definitely call judges. It is her prerogative.
But you don't call the police?
How do you know?
Don't call the police, you don't call the police.
You don't call the police?
Okay, why is the FIR not registered for 3 days?
So FIR is not registered. That is for the police to explain. That is not for the accused to explain.
So her friends, so the friends who she might have called on the basis of distress, because they are the only friends she has, as you believe.
Yes.
Those friends could not have had a role in that.
So if they had a role, why not? They are investigated.
They should be investigated.
Yes.
So all those who have been called should be investigated.
So
now the CDRs are out, obviously they will be investigated, including the judges.
Please, let me ask you, who produced that CDR? They themselves produced, the accused produced that CDR in the court, right? So if they were so guilty, why were they producing the CDR, and why the defense, why the prosecution has
was
not
the accused
taken...
producing the CDR or the other side?
The accused produced.
No, you made a comment. Let's get the factual.
The other side, and the accused is on the run. That's precisely what we are discussing. They've withdrawn the bail
not on the
today.
run. Giripala was not on the run.
Please, one moment.
Wait a minute, let me complete. See, what we are saying is that, of course, there is a presumption that it was a dowry death if it happens within 7 years. But there cannot be, based on all the facts, there can be a presumption of presumption. You know, there is a presumption. There is only one presumption. We cannot presume that all this harassment happened because of dowry, because there is nothing in it. And if anything...
nothing, she is referred to 2 lakh transaction.
Wait a minute, whatever you had shown, how you are presuming? You are presuming.
Material on record.
One second.
So,
one by one.
Prosecution had all the right to oppose the bail. The prosecution has the right to, if the bail has been granted, go for cancellation of the bail. They can go to High Court, they can go to Supreme Courts. So all the courts are open. And the accused, Samarth, if he is on the run, he is taking his recourse in the court. whether he is seeking anticipatory bail, and he has the right to go underground till his
he may have the right, but it does not look very good. Why he's evading the law? The kind of messages over here certainly don't paint him in a very good light. Rekha.
Absolutely not. You know, any person whose wife has just died in a manner, in this absolutely unnatural manner, he would be the first one to come forward and help the police if his conscience is clear. No doubt that as a human being he's scared. No doubt as a lawyer you're right in saying that he's got a right to protect himself and apply for anticipatory bail. But he's just lost his wife. Here is his mother who's making scandalous defamatory statements against his wife. And this man doesn't have the guts to stand up for his wife. He doesn't have the spine to speak about his wife, because as the other panelists just said, it is Giribala who's putting words in his mouth. She's building up a narrative, so that this is the narrative being built up against Twisha, that he was a bad girl, you know, who was absolutely, you know, probably hypersensitive. You know, she was, as somebody just said, she's a gold digger, and somebody is trying to, the mother-in-law is trying to make her out to be a drug addict. So ultimately, it is not just these phone calls which are going to put the, lead the culprits to the gallows, and they need to go to the gallows if they are guilty. If they are guilty. But yes, only the messages, the WhatsApp messages which you just showed in the beginning of the program, they alone may not be sufficient to build up a case of dowry there. But yes, there are going to be other statements of the family members of Twisha, who are going to probably now speak up and say that how the daughter was being harassed, how the dowry demands were being made. And the dowry demands need not be very blunt. They can be they can be done in a very subtle manner, you know, about lifestyle demands, about property demands, how, you know, you have to live up according to the Jonases. So all those things, you know, when you make demands in a subtle manner, the girl is not dumb. She's probably going to convey to her mother that, look, mom, this is what they have done.
Mr. Dwivedi, I want to ask you this. Calls are made to senior bureaucrats. Calls are made to judicial officers, including an additional secretary level officer, a director general rank IPS officer, 2 additional district judges, a Lokayukta official, and a district judge. Shoni Kapoor says, of course she's a judge, her friends would be judges. Are all these only the friends that she would have? Or is this her using her influence or misusing her influence?
There's a very, very simple and a very basic question I want to raise, you know. She's a judge. Her husband is a lawyer. They know the law fully well.
Son is a lawyer, yeah.
Son is a
Son is a... They know fully well that if it's an unnatural death, the first thing they have to do is to inform the police. That's a very major omission, you know. That's a very major omission and leads to a lot of presumptions. And you're right, you see, you're right. I mean, you should be having friends. And if you don't have friends, you try to call influential people to help you in times of stress, maybe, which is natural, perhaps. But the point is that has she fulfilled her duty, which she knows fully well that she was supposed to do, and not doing that and trying to seek recourse to people who have influence in society, obviously would lead to that you want to influence the nature of investigation and inquiry and protect yourself to the extent you can, not get arrested, stay on bail, and so on. So, you know, this is and, you know, I'm extremely sorry to say that a judge making such a mistake of not informing the police in the case of natural death, not protecting the scene of law.
Answer that. End of the day, you know, what he's saying is there. Okay, bad enough she's using her influence, which exactly is not acceptable. I think Gen Z today, our public who's watching are outraged. Because here's a judge misusing influence even in such a sensitive matter. But did she do what she's supposed to do as per the law? No, just to approach the police. She's not done so, is what he's also saying.
As far as informing the police late, or maybe after a day, or I don't know how long it took them, 3 days or 2, no, 3 days was for the registration of the FIR. Whether it took, probably what was informed, that it took them almost 2 hours to inform the police. Once they reached the hospital, only then police was called in. So they'll have to explain that inordinate delay of 2 hours. Because that presumption, because the death has taken place in their house, so there's a presumption that those events are in their knowledge. So they will have to explain.
Why that presumption won't be used by the other side?
Pardon?
Why would that presumption only be used by this side?
Whose onus is to...
Whose onus is it? She's a judge and she should be setting the example.
I was on a different this thing. I'm saying that presumption that how the death took place.
Please look at the video, ma'am, how the CPR is being given.
And they will have to explain the inordinate delay also of 2 hours.
Okay.
The CPR was given and she was taken to the hospital. We are missing this point.
Yeah, you see, and there's an additional responsibility. You see, as a lawyer, as a judge, you understand that protection of evidence, even to prove your own innocence, is important. You see, both ways. What steps were taken? I mean, all that you have said and you have heard shows that no step was taken to protect the evidence, and every effort was made to disturb the evidence over there,
Exactly.
to prevent a fair investigation. No, which all you see. It does whether she's guilty or not. Ultimately, it's the court to prove that. Whether dowry is made out or not, it's ultimately the court to prove that. But no, we're just looking at circumstances.
Second postmortem.
How do you know the crime scene has not been vitiated by then? And CCTV guys are being called, top cops are being called. How do we know that the crime scene, if there is a crime, we don't know whether it's suicide, whether it's a natural death?
Madhav, let's not get into this studio. No, that's a matter of investigation.
Why should it not be investigated?
No, and that's a matter of investigation whether they've
because I'm asking you about the case of Deepika Nagar. I just raised the question of Deepika Nagar. That entire family was arrested. Yes. Every middle class person in this country, their entire family would be arrested under dowry laws. Why is she not being arrested?
Now arrest is the sole domain of the police. Not even the judges can direct that go and arrest someone.
So Delhi police have also done the same thing.
If it's the judge, police will be scared. That why should we arrest the judge? Is that not the case?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's go one by one. Let's get a response. I asked you a question. Let her respond.
We didn't
yes, Abba,
do
please.
any debate on this.
Abba.
Madhav, let's see what's come before us in the manner in which this entire scenario has panned out before us and why she has not been arrested, or then they have applied for anticipatory bail. They know what is coming next. So the problem over here is that the insistence of the lady that is a suicide, and to then the police to in the postmortem say it's a suicide, and then the ligature is not there, and the investigation is totally sort of, I think it's gone wrong, and evidence has been destroyed, is clearly visible over here. So we are glad that the second postmortem is coming in now. The point is over here that when a person insists there is suicide, I have a very strong feeling that there's a concealed offense sitting over here, a crime that has been committed, that is being covered up over here, and the cover up is being done by our dear judge over here. So now having a judge in that place who's literally sort of navigating the entire thing for the rest of the people.
All right. Let's quickly look at it.
I'm surprised.
I would like to add over here, let's not forget
the medical reports are being opened.
Let us not forget the patriarchal mindset that the police has.
Bring in patriarchy everywhere.
And that is the patriarchal mindset that here is a woman, here is a girl who has been, made out as a gold digger by one panelist, and the mother-in-law makes her out to be a promiscuous lady and also into drugs. So obviously the entire investigation is being swayed in a particular manner that she was a bad girl.
Okay. Let's quickly now come into some of the other aspects of this. Why is this so important as in terms of a national discussion? India's dowry law, the question is whether it's strong only on paper, because while the purpose is to criminalize dowry death, this is section 80 of the BNS. The sentence here is 7 years, extendable to life imprisonment. Let's quickly bring in the next aspect of this. In the section 80 itself, the purpose is punishing cruelty by husband or relatives. The sentence, of course, up to 3 years in jail with fine. And let's bring in the next aspect of this law. The purpose, of course, of section 3 of the Dowry Prohibition Act in terms of penalty for giving dowry as well, because even giving dowry is a crime. The sentence is a minimum 5-year jail term and fine of not less than 15,000 rupees. Dowry givers are shielded from prosecution if they are the aggrieved party, is what the Supreme Court has said in past judgments as well. So this, of course, at the end of the day is the nub of the entire issue, because when it comes to the law itself, this is pretty much the law that we had before the BNS as well. And I'd like to bring in Pritika on this. Pritika, is there enough deterrence in the law itself? Does the law need to be stronger than it currently is?
Absolutely, because a lot of people say, okay, it's probably gifts, but they are not really gifts, they are demands. And the girls that go through this mental pressure, they can't even tell their parents, sometimes thinking that they'll think that, okay, parents influence kar rahe hai, ya ladki ghar mein settle nahi ho rahi, or it's teething problems in the house. One more thing that I feel is missing is tampering of evidence that has happened, which is also a crime in itself. Like the CCTV footage is tampered, and that's another crime. Moreover, the girl is being called a druggist. The girl herself, she's telling her own mother that, Mom, they think I'm a druggie. And even after her death, she's making statements like that. Like, what's the proof? Like, the girl, while she was alive, she said that, okay, such bases are being formed about me. And the mother, if she's that stressed, the mother-in-law, sorry, she's making 50 distressed calls to her colleagues that, okay, this is happening. What about those colleagues? Don't they know the law? And if she's that distressed, if she's so sad, then why is she making such comments after the death of her daughter-in-law? Clearly, those were to tamper with the evidence. And what about those 50 calls, those judges? Does nobody not know that the primary duty of any citizen is to inform the police? And it is so ironical they come from these backgrounds, such educated law backgrounds. So I'm really surprised at what's happening and why is the mother...
Whatever be the education, Barkat Rehan, at the end of the day, whatever be the education, if this is the kind of statement that is coming from a judge, then education, whatever family background, social background doesn't make any difference if you're going to defame somebody who's dead in this particular manner.
आरोप प्रत्यारोप दोनों तरफ से हो रहा है. They are doing lots of mudslinging. Both parties are doing. Wait and watch. The court will decide. Let the investigation be fair and let the court verdict come, not media trial. Media is not going to help the case at all.
Ma'am, this is not a
media trial. We are not going to help. We are nobody here.
Let me just tell you, the audio clip that came out, you consider that a media trial? The audio clip in which she's talking utter nonsense about her now deceased daughter-in-law, you consider that a media trial?
There will be many more audio clips coming.
Of whom?
And we will be here. We will be here. And in Aman Sharma's case also the same things happened. Did we see any public outrage? Did we do any single discussion? Did we even ask where are they absconding? The system failure. Did we ask anything? The wife is the judge. The sister-in-law is an IPS officer. Did we ask a single question?
In this particular case, right, there is only a selective outrage.
Because we get mileage.
Answer the question.
The mother and parents are doing
Is this only selective outrage when it comes to women? That is the allegation of the men's rights activists. It's not there in Aman Sharma case is our argument. Please respond.
She's absolutely wrong about that. Each case has to be taken on the facts.
It's the same case.
No, let her answer. You asked a question. No, let her answer. Let her respond.
You are generalizing dowry deaths. Where the law is concerned, as a lawyer, I would say that absolutely one is very sad about what happened to Aman Sharma and any other man who probably takes life into his own hands if he's facing harassment by his wife and by his in-laws. But you cannot compare apples and oranges. Please,
no,
let's talk about the case over here.
It is not
absolutely trying to generalize.
And maintenance and alimony versus dowry are two different things.
I think, again, most respectfully, there is no need to compare two cases. I mean, if something wrong was done, madam, just a minute.
No, ma'am, please, let him speak.
Let him something wrong, if you were discussing that case, you could have mentioned that Aman Sharma case, things went wrong. That's a different discussion completely. What we are talking about here is, a very unfortunate death of a promising lady. And, what could have happened. And, and I want to bring in another factor over here. You asked the lady that you think the law is strong enough. I think, we have to go a little beyond law. And, an educated girl who's doing well in life professionally, I mean, why should it happen that she gives up her life? That means that there's a complete absence of adequate support systems in society. Yeah. You have in workplace, you have
Posh Act.
You have the Posh Act, you have support systems you can report. Now, when professionals work on their own, there should be in every profession, there should be a support group. We should identify what's going wrong and people can take recourse to. I mean, women having to give her life today, it's really unfortunate. The view of society. Even today, a divorce is seen as something very bad, and
it's just not divorce,
patriarchy. But it's a fact that the dice is really heavily loaded against women.
I think it's high time that people think about whether they want a divorced daughter or a daughter who unfortunately ends up dead. I think that's also an important consideration. Because if this is the kind of cries for help SOS is coming out, then certainly it's for family members, for friends, etc. to step in and ensure that things do not go out of hand. We'll have to leave it there completely. I'd like to thank all of you. Rekha Agarwal, Rishika Dhawan, Abha Maryada Bhatt, Pritika Pava, Ranjan Dwivedi, Vikas Gupta, Barkat Rehan, Shoni Kapoor. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of the National Debate.